What is going on, everybody? We're back on it. House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 8, the final episode this season, which is crazy to think that we just blinked through 8 episodes, 8-hour-plus episodes. I know it's already been renewed, I think, for at least 2 more seasons. No, it might be done in that amount of time. I think it's 2026 or later, so wow, that's actually crazy that we're gonna sit through essentially 2+ years, a year and a half to 2.5 years for this to come back around is insane. I'm very interested to see what they decide to give us in this final episode. Looks like we've got what, an hour 20, well, not fully an hour 20, you know how it goes. It's been a very, very slow build up this season, in my opinion, and I didn't mind it last season because, like, oh, you know, we're laying the groundwork, we're understanding the characters and XYZ. But man, it has been really, I feel like, and another thing is because we've kind of just been sitting in one place, and we were sitting in one place last season, you know, it was pretty much, you know, just King's Landing the entire time, like that was it. The Red Keep, etc. And we've been sitting in different places, you know, this season. We've even got to see Winterfell for a little bit. We got to see the Eyrie and the Riverlands and Harrenhal, and so we do have different settings, but I feel like we've just been stuck in these same settings of, like, Rhaenyra's inside Dragonstone, the Greens are inside the Red Keep, Daemon's inside Harrenhal, and the main characters have just kind of been in that spot. I don't know why. I don't know how to describe it. How it just feels like it's just been a slow drip. I don't know why. I feel like maybe I was expecting a little more action, a little more stuff. I don't know. It still has been a great season. But man, I feel like it's been building. Like I said, the roller coaster's been ticking, and just when I think we're about to drop, we tick back up again. So I'm curious if we finally just fully launch into it. We get a full crazy action-packed battle episode, dragons galore. We'll see. Had a lot of characters level up last episode. Just level up their status in the world with the 3 new dragon riders we got. I'm curious if they're going to remain loyal, because I feel like when you come up on a dragon, you're essentially your own king. I feel like you're just a walking nuke. And there's really nobody that's going to be able to test you or step to you unless they also have another dragon. And the people that have that are very few and far between in the world. I feel like you could easily just change, like maybe someone, maybe Helena decides she doesn't want to, she thinks the Greens are pieces of shit, she wants to fly for us. Maybe the ones that just flew for us decide, like, oh, I don't like this, they're offering me stuff over here, I want to flip and fly for the Greens. I want to fly for this airline. Or maybe someone would just decide, I don't need this. Like, I have a dragon. I'll be treated like a king anywhere I go. Let me hop on my dragon and fly as far east or as far west as Westeros goes. You know, what's on the other side. Let me go to Essos or Pentos and see what's going on over there with my dragon. Like, leave this behind. Like, you very well could do that. And, like, no one's really going to be able to step to you or stop you. So I'll be very curious to see if these people remain loyal the entire time, given the status that they just came up on. And what I'm curious is Daemon going to remain in Harrenhal by the end of this episode? Just a lot of moving pieces. As always. But let's see what we get into. Okay, this is definitely not... This is definitely not Westeros. I did not come here for all that. Who's going to protect their fleets and everything from the dragons, by the way? Also true. When she presses up on you with damn near 10 dragons and the biggest dragon you have, you put the rider in chains, then what? He wants him to leave until this settles. Jeez. How? It's so hard to tell him that it can get better given the current state he's in. How do you tell somebody it gets better when you're not the one in it?
I can't even fish without it running down my neck.
Yeah. He's mentally over it, man. You're trying. She's still out here searching for this dragon, huh? Just left the queen's heirs to travel, and a clutch of dragon eggs and a couple baby dragons. Just left. Do they know that she's like, hey, I'm gonna meet you guys at the dock or something? Like, what's her play here if she didn't find the dragon and unable to tame it? Here we go. See,
Prince Jacaerys Velaryon.
Prince Jacaerys Velaryon.
Ulf's feeling himself, bro. Man got a dragon and he's fucking, hey.
He lives cut from the same cloth.
Oh Lord, he does not. He already came in here ticked off, and now
Not
it's
much use to the manners of court.
yeah.
And what is the strength of their character?
She's asking the right questions.
At least is known to you.
Known to me, yeah. He's my shipwright. Yes. But like she says, she doesn't know the character of these two. How quickly can they be swayed, paid off, think better of themselves? Dreamfire's a big bitch. Don't underestimate them. He's asking the right questions here. It's your hand. This is your hand right here, so y'all figure it out.
And my men serve you.
She just has to give the word.
Are marching.
Yes.
And the high towers from Alton.
Yes.
You must crush this beast.
She has to press the button.
And before too many days have flown.
Will she or will she not? We can't sit here and toil like you did all this moving to get these dragons.
Another player. That is yet to be revealed.
Oh God, Damon. I was like, who's he talking about? Let's see how this conversation goes. We saw him have the vision with Viserys, all the nightmares he's having and shit. And he like kind of like rejected the crown. Is he like out of this mentally about like it's gonna be mine? I'll lead. I'll be king or what?
There are battles to her own course. For good or
Here we go. He is the traitor. He's gonna be a traitor. Yeah, here we go.
If you declare yourself,
He's pushing for him.
your lords will follow.
Here we go.
took you for
You did not need to come here and say that right now, man. He finally had that vision with Viserys where like he was kind of like giving the crown, asking him did he truly want it, and he turned it away. So I thought maybe we had like taken a step. I don't know if that's just what I thought. And now this man comes in here saying, hey, if you want to wink wink nudge nudge, I'm down to ride. He overhears it. It's a mess. She's like, I didn't know I could leave. She's smiling. Oh shit, I wanted them to continue that conversation. Of course Aemon's about to walk in here. Fucking hell. Hey, there we go, Alicent. It's a start. They're crumbling. Both sides are crumbling. Man's over here talking about, Daemon, it should be you. Let's, raise a king. And then they're just falling apart. They've been falling apart over here.
resisted.
Yeah, just don't do it, Cole. Like he's like, oh, these women, they keep causing me, then just stopped. Damn, my man came across dragons fighting one time, and it is purely just like, turned him into like a Jehovah's Witness. Like he's like, his third eye is completely opened. He's like, what does it all even mean? Because we can't do anything. Which is true. You'd be the greatest swordsman and all this crazy shit. You could have an army of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 at your back.
Don't you think?
And it takes one dragon to just blink all of you out of existence. I'm assuming this storyline's going to pay off with them actually going to sail with him, because this would be a waste of time if Lannister boy can't get them to sail with him.
You are the crown.
I was about to say, he's the only one pressed about this. I was about to say, at least be there. Show the people, like, oh, the prince, the heir, riding alongside his mother in battle. They went out, they conquered, they took over for the traitors, yada yada. Like, so people see it and you're ready to go when the time comes. And it's just hanging out. Okay, so she's fully abandoned those kids, right? I think she has fully abandoned them. Now, I don't know if she told the people that were with her. But yeah, she's gone fully rogue. Now, no way you have her go rogue and not accomplish this dragon, right? Get it over with. You want to lay with him? All right, let's get it over with. Come on now. Oh God, that was way a step higher than I thought. But she just wanted like, oh, let's have something. She's like, I want to have your children.
Why are these little birds?
Yeah, she's seeing it. Well, you know where he comes from. You know where they scooped him up from. The rest have decent heads on them. They aspire for things. At least Adam and
The three of you.
the first cousin of Daemon and Viserys.
Done a thing never dreamed of.
They have their heads on straight. Ulf is a drunk that came up on a dragon, and we'll see what there really is of him in here and in here.
I've entrusted you with a not be helped.
It's tough because that's the problem with him though. He isn't innocent.
Break the will of our enemy.
He comes from those people. We were talking about, you know, oh, Ulf's a drunk and all these things.
She is fearsome.
But he comes from where those people are, those villages, the people that will just get burned off to the side.
Not defend against- Comport himself with grace at the Queen's table.
Yeah, can we reel him in? Chop off his head and give him to somebody else.
Yourself. Friend.
Can he not read the room?
Sense of humor do you all good.
He's gotta be the worst. Oh man, but we can't look over the point of her talking about just going to these towns and burning them down to the ground. What? Oh shit, it actually was Third Eye Raven. That was a guy stuck in a tree with the White Walkers and the dead dragons. What? Is that supposed to be Daenerys? Oh shit, it is her. Oh wow. You want to mentally get him on board. This might really lock him in. Like, get all that treachery, like, I'm gonna be king shit, like, out of the way. This might really lock her the fuck in. Holy shit. Do you think they might actually have the actress here sitting on this throne, or what?
What a story.
Helena. Do you think he's actually connecting with her right now? Like, truly, truly connecting with her?
And you're but one part in it. You know your part.
Whoa. That might have been the best part of the entire season. That little 90-second sequence right there.
What you must
Good of the realm depends on us.
She's seen the answers to the test. Like, she's on her brand shit.
Dragon Rider. She cannot understand.
She knows that, like, this isn't the path. This is not the way I'm going. This is not how the pieces fall. Yeah. She's a part in it. And this isn't her part to play. Whatever Aemon's nonsense is. Because, like, you kind of need her. If she does, like, if you're from Aemon's point of view, it's like, if there's some way I convince her, I can't kill her because she has one of the better dragons, bigger dragons. And what are we gonna do? Get rid of her and let her shit, like, take over? Let somebody else take it over? Like, that's just too much time. We don't have enough time for that. And she also doesn't care, so... Did she go directly? Good. I'm glad Rhaenyra went directly with him. Don't send Adam of Hull to speak to Daemon. You gotta talk to Daemon. You gotta go do that yourself. At least if all hell breaks out here and they do end up fighting, she's got 2 dragons, and Daemon just has the 1. He says, I had, quote unquote, had reason to fear. Something changed since the sun came up. Daemon got a little more pop in his step. All hail the queen, etc., etc. He had the vision. The vision, the vision. He speaks what you speak. Yes, the vision. He did it. He did it. Ah, okay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We did not have time for him to not. And everybody has seen it. Okay, good, 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 good. I really, like, I love it and I hate it. I love how they've really been, like, sprinkling in, like, hey, winter's coming. Us as a viewer, we know it's not coming for, you know, hundreds of years and everything, but, like, the way they've been showing it and how the Targaryens have been, like, slowly, like, preparing for it. We've got to make sure like we have our dragons and we're united and there's a Targaryen on the throne. Like I love how they've been showing it in this House of the Dragons. I love it. But then I also hate how like everything that they've been preparing for was rectified in one evening in the actual story, you know? Like how the long night ended up being like 30 minutes. It was just, I don't know, don't get me started on season 8. But like that's the part I hate of it. The part that I hate about it, how they've been like getting built up and ready for it. It's like, oh my god, winter's coming, the long night. They've been preparing for hundreds of years. Like look at the visions they're having. And then we see how it goes when it gets there. Look at his little rat ass. You better get him. He spoke about... Where's he going? That can't be the end of this conversation. Bro.
I am trying to help you.
I was about to say. Here we go. Now we're getting to it. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on. And now that triggered him. That triggered him so much. Here we go.
Is this the help you offer after all these years?
Yeah.
A reminder to be grateful. I mean no offense. You may go.
Okay. No. You opened the can.
What it was like for us. Alone.
I don't know what side. Like I side with both sides here. I don't side with, because we know how bastards are treated. Unless you're in Dorne, where hey, come one, come all, you know. So I don't give Corlys any. Like I blame him for the like, especially if he knew that like that was his bastard sons. Knew that those were her bastard sons, knew where they were at all times, and like knew of them, and chose to just like, at least with like Ned, it wasn't, Jon Snow wasn't his true bastard, but at least with Ned and Jon Snow, Jon, while granted Catelyn was a piece of shit and others might have like said comments, he still got to like live a better life. You know, Ned brought him in, let it known like, hey, this is my bastard, which we know it really wasn't, but we see how like different bastards are treated in different areas.
You have done what no one else
Corlys could have done something for them. So I do fault him for that. But then I also don't fault him here for trying to hold on to something, because everything he's had is gone and dead. His wife, his children, his heirs, all gone. So I don't blame him for like trying to hold on to a little bit something that he still has of his blood. But it's tough.
I do not what I would choose.
What life? She wants to choose. She doesn't want to do this Queen Regent bullshit anymore.
Will you cast your son down and rule alone?
No, she just wants, she just wants to live. She doesn't want it any. Yeah, she'll go live on a farm somewhere. She just wants out of this. She's getting that nervous, like she used to do when she was a kid. Yeah, she still got the tics and shit going.
Do it for all to see. You know this.
To sound like Otto now.
However you may try to evade it, you know this.
Alicent tried to stick up for the other end when Otto was like, we must go, we must kill her quick and clean. And Alicent was like, no, we can't do this. There has to be another way where she'll just like give it up. And now it's in reverse. She's like, we can do this without, taking and... I mean, you're asking her to sacrifice one of her kids. I don't blame her if she says no.
A son for a son.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't see each other enough to have like, that type of conversation. She might see Rhaenyra on her dragon flying over King's Landing. You might see pieces moving as war goes. But I wonder if that's the last time that they're ever going to get to sit there and have like an uninterrupted, no stress. Nobody's going to kill one. My Kingsguard will take you. Like that was just a nice, last conversation. Oh, that's the son's dragon, right? Alicent's other son that we've yet to see. So they have Vhagar and that dragon, and that's it? Just those two? The dragon that's like just took off the training wheels on how to fly literally a week ago, and then Vhagar, and that's it? Because even if you had Aegon's dragon, the rider is not fit to ride at all. And Helaena wants nothing to do with it. So they just have two dragons. Two. And maybe the little bit more of the ground forces. What are we rolling with? 7 something deep? Jesus. 8 if she gets her hands on this dragon in the Vale? And you just came across all the Riverland forces? And Daemon's fully, like, mentally cleansed of it, locked in? It's a good start. And I think what makes Rhaenyra's side so deadly as well, they can have a dragon at every point of interest. The Greens can't do that. They can have a dragon at every point of interest and still have enough firepower, dragons, to be wherever Vhagar is. Oh god, she's got to get the dragon now. She's got to get it now. Go. Run right at it, literally. We're not going to see her conquer it. No, we're not going to get to see her conquer it. Oh, shit. Who's this, Otto? Why does it look like he's been captured? Is that who she rode with up here? I was just about to say the lack of Otto this season has been one of the parts that I've missed for sure. But it also helped things spiral into chaos, especially from the green side. With Otto not being there to kind of like have the hand on the wheel. They did get out. They left. Well, that kind of... Alicent, that kind of screws your plan over, no? You're supposed to let him in and take Aegon's head. Well, that's fucked. So much for that. But we knew that that storyline was way too simple of like, oh, you just fly in here, you take it, it's over. That's not. Now I'm curious, like, what part of that story is going to be the part that like falls through? Does Alicent let them in and they take over? She's like, I'm here, the rightful queen, yada yada, blah blah blah. And it's like, I'm the usurper, Aegon. You know, I'll take him out now and take my place. And it's like, Aegon, Aegon, and Aegon's just nowhere to be found. Like, is that how that goes? Where was Otto right there? Is he being held captive? Where is he right now? It looks like he's in a crate or a prison cell. What? By who? What happened there? Holy shit. Well, she found the dragon. Alright, and that ends up being the end of the season. Damn. So we really didn't get any like crazy battles. I feel like it was an opportunity missed, but a pretty solid episode. Like I said, I really enjoyed, even since season 1, the sprinkling in of, you know, the long night, winter's coming, the greater threat, what we have to be prepared for. That like 90-second flashback, flash forward scene, whatever you want to call it there, of, you know, seeing multiple dragons dead, seeing the White Walkers in the army behind them, seeing Daenerys come out with her 3 eggs, and that was a great part right there. Really love that. And they showed, you know, the Targaryen and the tree and the 3-eyed raven, and it's all pretty great. Like I said, I really have loved how they've done that. How they've been like sprinkling this seed, the long night's coming, be ready for it. But then I hate it at the same time because we know like what the long night ended up being in season 7 when it finally came to. Something that's been prepared for hundreds of years at this point, now that we've seen it. So that's unfortunate, but I do like Daemon fully being committed, because it's going to be hard. It's like, are we really going to play with this here? Like, was Rhaenyra going to show up and he like bends and he's like, okay, I'm down, but like we know he's still secretly plotting. I think we now fully have him mentally locked in. I know a lot of people on the internet have been upset with the way Daemon's character's been handled this season. It's just been him stuck in there having these, you know, Luigi's Haunted Mansion visions and these nightmares, and it's just been like this ongoing thing for 8 episodes essentially straight. So I could see that side from it. Like he hasn't been doing anything else. Just been kind of seeing him do that over and over and over. But it definitely did show him finally mentally like coming over it. And like I said before, he had the vision of like the long night and what's to come and everything. He had that vision with Viserys and the crown, and it looks like he had maybe like finally taken that step of, okay, I'm not here for it. But we still weren't sure because we got homeboys showing up saying like, I think you'd be better suited to lead. And what happens to him? Is he just going to be like fucked off and forgotten? Because Daemon knows he tried it. So I don't know if his character ends up being anything. But I'm glad that he's fully mentally on board. It's unfortunate that it took all season, but also now that I see the whole of the season and how kind of how the direction they went with it, what else would there have been for Daemon to do? I'm not saying we needed him to have these nightmares every single episode or whatever you want to call it, but I'm trying to figure like where else would he have been positioned or placed. I feel like now that I've seen the whole of it, I guess him kind of being in Harrenhal is fine with me that I've seen it, because there wouldn't be really anywhere else for him to go other than him kind of like sitting in on the council. But I have a feeling that if he's sitting in on the council, you know, the lady, I forget, the lady Massaria would have never been able to elevate and kind of help plant the seeds that she did if Daemon's there. And I don't think he ever would have gone along with the plan of like recruiting these bastards to ride these dragons. And it's interesting too, because you think back to last season, because wasn't it the final season of the final episode of season 1 where we see Daemon in Dragonstone face to face with the Bronze Fury? So I was curious, like, what's the storyline they're going for here? Like, Daemon's going around like getting his hands on these dragons, or like getting these dragons ready, and we didn't really see anything other than to show the viewer a dragon. Vermithor was claimed by somebody else, because I'm pretty sure that's who he ran into at the end of the season. But yeah, so I'm kind of curious of like, oh, they were setting up, I don't know what they were planning to set up there. Like, were they just showing us the viewer like, hey, here's another dragon? I don't know what they were plotting with Daemon and that, but who knows. So it's an interesting give or take with Daemon this season. I do like the end of it, the resolution of it. Did it drag a little bit with him kind of just having these visions over? I've seen the complaints about it and stuff, but I actually didn't hate it too much, but I could see why others would hate it. And I could see why like a lot of people said the season was slow. I think for me, I probably prefer season 1, but getting to really expand on the dragons and the different dragon character designs and everything, like even this one on screen right here, is pretty great. Because how many did we get in season 1? We got Rhaenyra's, Daemon's, we saw Vhagar, we saw Sea Smoke. What do we have, a good 4 or 5? And then we just opened the floodgates here in this season. So yeah, a lot to talk about with Daemon, but I think we've pretty much covered the gist of it. And then what would, because I was going to bring it up, but they showed him, but still bring it up. I was like, you know what I did miss this season was Otto. But I think Otto, again, the same way I said with Daemon had to be removed from like the small council area, because the things that they were able to accomplish and do, he would have never been okay with. The same way, like, I think Otto had to be removed from the small council of the Greens and King's Landing, because the shit they were doing would not have gone down if he was there as well. So it's like, I would have wished we would have gotten more from Daemon and Otto, but I understand of why you had to remove their characters from certain plot points, because they wouldn't have, you think they would have done the things that they were doing on the green side if Otto was still sitting at the table. You saw how he freaked out about the rat catchers. It just would have been, it would have gone down completely different. But when Alicent was like, yeah, no word from my father, I was like, oh, I guess he just hasn't been writing to her. It looked like he's in a cell, no? So the question is, where is he being held? Who is holding him, and why is he being... Did Aemon order that? Aegon order that? That's the only two. Unless somehow Daemon came... Unless Daemon got his hands on him and has him locked up somewhere, or one of the Riverland people. I don't know who kind of locked him up, so that's a storyline that'll have to be dealt with. Helaena getting some screen time there. I think that's the really first time that she's been giving screen time, aside from her kid getting his head taken off earlier in the season. I think that's the first time we've gotten some like just straightforward speech and time on screen from her character there, where she's not just talking in riddles or like in the background of a conversation. Like, she was actually speaking there to Alicent, to Aemon. It was a nice conversation. Now, I don't know, because I know she kind of like has the visions, and you know, we've always talked about like, you know, some characters have warg abilities in the books and in the shows, and some people are dreamers and they call, you know, like she's just a dreamer. But she's got some like third eye raven to her. No, I don't know if she's like this in the books or not. I know, you know, not everyone's book accurate, but like, was she like on the same plane as Daemon there at the same time that he was connected to the tree? It was a very interesting connection that they had, but we've seen her kind of talk about it, and she's in an interesting place of like, I don't know if she's all knowing like Bran is, past, present, future, but, or maybe she's seen enough to know how things might go, but she doesn't know how it ends. So that's, again, her storyline, very interesting to see, but we get very little of her. And then with Alicent, you see Alicent finally wanting to make decisions for herself, and like, you know, I've always done what Otto wanted of me, or I try to do this for the realm, or for Viserys, or for my kids, or for this, or for that, and all of that casted me aside anyway. So she's finally making a decision for herself. Now, we see that Aegon does decide to go with Lord Strong, Larys. But that was like the bargaining chip there. That's what they had agreed upon. Like, Alicent was going to say, hey, they're flying out. When they go out, you come in. I let you in. And yes, I will agree that, fine, you can take Aegon's head. You can kill him, son for a son. That's fine. It looks like Rhaenyra had agreed to that. Now, we know as a viewer that sounds way too easy on paper. So what will go wrong with that? Is it a trap? Does someone get word of it and they set to like counter trap it? Can they not get their hands on Aegon? And it looks like they're not going to get their hands on Aegon because he's out of there. Now again, with them being out of there, it's like, do they have a part to play for the rest of this season? Does Aegon show back up? Does Rhaenyra end up getting her hands on him? Do they just fuck off in Essos and we don't see them again and it's just word of them over there? I really don't know how that plays out. Because even if he was to leave, if Rhaenyra ends up winning and like, you know, there's maybe she gets everything settled and she, you know, helps the people out, is Aegon showing back up going to have favor with the people if like the war has been settled and like we're kind of in a time of peace? I don't know. Larys seems to be pretty confident in that, but we'll see if they're even brought back into the story. Have we forgotten? Oh, and then Ulf and why can't I remember the other one's name? Hugh's his name. I was curious how Hugh was going to feel about, you know, because is it Rhaena or Baela? I think Baela was like, oh, we're just going to kill innocent people. And there was kind of like panning to Hugh. There was like, he's those innocent people. He's those common people. He's not one of the highborns. Ulf is too mentally out of it to even comprehend kind of what's going on. But even for Adam, he's one of those common people too. In his struggles. But Hugh was really like at the bottom of the gutter, lost his daughter because of it. He sees the struggles of like the war and everything that happens to people, especially the lower level people. I'm interested to see, is he gonna like follow through with it? Now maybe he could, and I'm just reading too much into it, but it's like he's one of those people at the bottom that gets affected with war and times of poverty and things like that. Is he gonna have a hand in going and burning these places, ravaging them by war, knowing the lower level people will kind of get shit on and forgotten about? I was like, ooh, that's an interesting button to press for her. Because like she said, she doesn't know their character. She doesn't know these people. What truly drives them. You know, Adam seems to have his head on straight of like, he just wants to do better in life. He wants to serve his queen. He's locked in. Hugh seems to be respectful enough. But again, there could be things, like I said, with the common people, he knows what that life is like if you push that button too much. But again, it could be fine. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. And then Ulf he's just a drunk that came up on a dragon. That's really what it comes down to. He doesn't have respect. There's no customs. There's no anything. So he seems like he would be the rogue wild card. Like, it's easy to like, oh, he would be a traitor. Maybe Hugh or somebody would. I think Adam's pretty locked in, I would like to think. And then we had the conversation about Corlys and his son, Alan. Well, they're both his sons, but it's like, I don't blame Corlys for how he's acting right now. He's lost everything. His wife, his kids, some of his health. Like, he's lost everything. I don't blame him for trying to connect with, even though they're bastards of his, the only blood connection he has left. You know, was it episode 1 of season 1 where he's talking about, you know, history remembers names and blood and, you know, all these things. Doesn't shock me that his character is like slowly trying to get his sons to accept, well, not sons to accept, but we see like him caring now and never really did. But then I agree with Alan on the other side of like, you didn't just find out by Raven that we were your bastard sons. You knew we were your bastard sons. And it's not like we were your bastard sons in another town. It's not like he sailed around and was, you know, by the Greyjoys or left people in King's Landing or was down here or just all around and just got a woman pregnant that was in Winterfell or in Dorne or something or in Essos. your bastards are in the same city as you. And you know of them. So it's like, oh, I had a bastard in Dorne, I never knew. Like, don't blame me for that. If I knew you were there, I would have came and gotten you, would have lived just like all of my regular kids because you are my kid. He knew that and still like just didn't do shit about it. So I side with Alan in that respect of like, you knew they were there. You knew they were at the bottom of the barrel struggling and you didn't do anything. So to come around now, of course, Alan's going to freak out. But then I don't disagree with Corlys trying to connect with them now because he has nothing left. But it's like, just because you come to get us because there's nothing left, it's tough. Jace is, you know, freaking out. He's going to be going through it because he knows he's not truly, and everybody else kind of knows he's not truly, so I see why he would be threatened by it. Aemond is slowly losing the grip on the rope. We'll see what ends up happening with his character. Alicent, you know, fully over it, finally making her decisions. And Rhaenyra seems to be fully committed. I think she's fully locked in. Now, will she go kill all these innocents and do all these things? I don't know. I was hoping that we were going to get the Riverlands battle this episode to cap off the season with, but we didn't. So that's kind of unfortunate, you know. Hopefully she's able to claim this dragon and then join the fight. That'd be pretty great. Trying to get a dragon head count. Rhaenyra, Daemon, Hugh, Adam, Ulf, Baela, Jace. I think that's it. Just those 7. And if, which she should, or this is going to be a wasted screen time, wasted storyline, she should get her hands on that one. Sheep Stealer, Goat Stealer, whatever his name is. That would give 8 for Team Black. And they just came up on a major ground force. Now, the question is, do ground forces really mean anything when you have dragons? When they, like I said, when 1,000 to 5,000, when 10,000 men could be gone in the blink of an eye with just one drive-by. But she did come up on it. She's got the ships. She just came up on that. And she's got 8 dragons. It's pretty great. On the other side, if you, I mean, the dragon's coming. I'm going to say they have 2 dragons, bro. 2. Because Helena's not going to do it. What are you going to do? Kill Helena and then try to get someone to bond with the dragon? It's just asking too much. 2 dragons. One of which, let alone that he's never been in battle, the man just got off his permit. He just got his driving license. So call that what you want, 1.5. But sure, call it 2. Now 2 being like you do have the biggest one, but 8, bro. Not even 8. Take out the other 4. 4 against Vhagar, like Vhagar is pushing it. Okay, I think Meleys had a chance if she kind of broken, dodged, and weaved a little bit there. So you've got 2 dragons, probably the stronger ground force, and you're bringing in hired ships from Essos. We'll see if that storyline pans out to be anything. I mean, they spent a decent, which wild is like they spent a lot of time in that, which is interesting with the Lannister boy and those characters that we've never been introduced to once, especially the woman. That got a good like 5 to 10 minutes of content this episode. Opened with that. They had a mid scene with it, and then towards the end scene, and you had a scene of them riding in the ships. It's wild that like that he got that much screen time. So I would assume that they're going to have a decent amount of screen time in the following season, because to give the end of your season to them that much screen time for characters that we really have, characters we've never seen, and then he's gotten such little screen time, is an interesting choice to me. But I assume that they're going to have a bigger part to play in next season. We'll see. Maybe that's who, you know, the blockade and the season, like that's what all that's going to run into. Let the ships just fuck around with the ships, you know, just keep them over there. But like I said, none of the ships or ground forces mean anything, like, because the dragon can just show up and quell all of that. So I'm not going to weigh anything ground wise or ship wise. We'll see, because if a dragon's in the area, it's just kind of whatever. My thing is though, with having 8 dragons, like, oh yeah, we could jump the fuck out of Vhagar, sure. But you don't even need that. You can take 4 of your dragons and spread them to different battle points and still have like 3 to 4 dragons ready to ride for Vhagar at any point. Keep Daemon and Caraxes. Keep Vermithor. And whoever the other one is that you want to keep. Honestly, keep fucking Ulf where Daemon is. I think Daemon keeps Ulf in line. So keep those 3 together for Vhagar at any point. And then just let the others, and you would expect the queen, she's going to be where Daemon is, so let's say Daemon's there as well. The other 4, I'm spreading them out, saying she gets hers on this. I'm sending 1 to where my fleet is, to, you know, give air support for the fleet. And any other ground forces that might be going on as well. And then maybe keep 1 to watch Dragonstone if you want. That's where I would keep Jace and his small-ass dragon, but we know that's not going to happen. Yeah, wait, is it not? Hold on. We've got Daemon. We've got Rhaenyra, Daemon, Jace. Rhaenyra, Daemon, Jace, Hugh, Adam, Ulf, Baela. And now she's getting, yeah, okay. I thought I didn't count Baela. I mean, you just have so many options with that much Dragonfire. So that'll be the end of it. I feel like we covered pretty much every storyline for the most part. If you want to talk about Criston Cole and his like coming to Jesus nun life that he's now taken on, sure, whatever. But I'm pretty sure we touched on like every major character there for the most part. I wonder what Aemon is thinking mentally, because he puts his head in these books and these histories and battle strategies and war and everything, but like you're losing it. And it's decisions that you're making. It's not like he's getting outmaneuvered. Like, granted, we did come up on dragons, but he couldn't control that, you know? But he's making decisions that's like affecting him. He's losing the common folk. He's losing XYZ. He's going out here and just burning things. So we'll see. We'll leave it there and say that it ends up being the end of House of the Dragon Season 2. Let me know what you guys think. Again, whenever they drop trailers or they drop news, I'll be on it. I'm assuming 2026, maybe summer 2026, fall 2026, something like that. So man, am I even gonna be here then? Knock on wood. But yeah, it's been a great time. I know we don't get a lot of discussion and views on these, but it's one of my Game of Thrones is my favorite anything I've ever watched. You guys know that if you've been here riding along with the Game of Thrones House of Dragons content, so they keep pumping it out. I'm gonna keep reacting. I know, didn't they say they have 4 other series in motion or 6 other series in motion, 2 live action and 2 animated? So like there's a lot of like Game of Thrones content that's gonna be pumped out, so I'll be here for it. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate it, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, and as always,